The legal disclaimer ensures transparency about recipe sources and viewer responsibility. Jemput Pisang, also known as cekodok pisang or kuih kodok, is one of the most beloved and humble snacks in the Malaysian kitchen, a golden, blistered ball of deep-fried mashed banana that needs nothing more than 3 or 4 pantry ingredients to shine. The name is wonderfully evocative. Jemput means to invite or to welcome in Malay, and these little fritters are indeed an invitation to sit down, slow down, and share something warm and sweet over a cup of tea. Across Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and Brunei, they are the quintessential afternoon treat, sold freshly fried at roadside stalls and whipped up at home whenever a bunch of bananas turns speckled and overripe. What makes Jemput Pisang so appealing is its stark simplicity. Unlike goreng pisang, where whole banana segments are dipped in a batter and fried, Jemput Pisang mashes the fruit directly into the batter, so the banana becomes the batter. There is no egg, no milk, no leavening agent. In the most traditional version, the banana itself provides all the moisture, sweetness, and structure. The result is a fritter that is crisp and deeply golden on the outside, yet soft, airy, and almost custardy within, a textural contrast that has made it a childhood favorite for generations. The choice of banana is paramount. Lee Suk Ching's recipe specifies pisang emas, the small, intensely sweet golden banana prized across Southeast Asia for its honeyed flavor and creamy texture when ripe. B. Yin Lo recommends pisang awak in Malaysia, noting that her late grandmother considered it the finest banana for deep frying. Angie Liu adds toasted sesame seeds for crunch, while Aslan Blore uses a touch of sodium bicarbonate for extra lift. Lee Suk Ching's version remains the most minimalist, just ripe banana, sugar, and flour bound into a dropping consistency dough and fried until the fritters float and turn a rich dark brown. It is a recipe that proves the best food often comes from the simplest ingredients, handled with care. Ripe bananas, 300 gs. Sugar, 1 1/2 tablespoon. Plain flour, sifted, 3 heaped TVCs. Cooking oil for deep frying. Here are the written ingredient list. Preparation steps. Step 1. Select and peel the bananas. Choose bananas that are fully ripe. The skins should be heavily speckled with brown spots or even fully blackened. This is not a flaw but a virtue. The riper the banana, the softer its flesh, the deeper its sweetness, and the better it will mash into a smooth batter. Lee Suk Ching specifies pisang emas for their concentrated flavor, but any small, sweet, overripe banana will work. Peel the bananas and place them in a medium mixing bowl. Job reference note, B. Yin Lo recommends pisang awak if you are in Malaysia, as its slightly starchy, seeded flesh holds up beautifully to frying. She notes that regular supermarket bananas also produce excellent results when fully ripe. Aslan Blore, Singaporean and Malaysian recipe stresses that the bananas must be overripe. The soft texture and natural sweetness are what make the fritters light and flavorful. Step 2. Mash the bananas. Using a fork, mash the peeled bananas thoroughly until they form a smooth, almost pureed paste. A few tiny lumps are perfectly acceptable and even desirable. They create little pockets of intense banana flavor within the fried batter. Work patiently, pressing and folding until no large chunks remain. The mashed banana should be soft, wet, and easily stirred. Step 3. Add sugar and flour. Sprinkle the 1 1/2 tablespoon of sugar and the 3 heaped tablespoons of sifted plain flour over the mashed banana. Mix thoroughly with a wooden spoon or spatula until everything is evenly combined. The goal is a thick, sticky dough that holds its shape on a spoon but drops off slowly when lifted, what Lee Suk Ching describes as a dropping consistency. If the mixture feels too wet or loose, fold in an additional spoonful of flour, a little at a time, until the right texture is reached. Cross-reference note. Aslan Blore describes the ideal batter as one that hubs the spoon, then falls off after 2-3 seconds. This visual test is the most reliable way to judge consistency without measuring. Angie Liu lets her batter rest for 15 minutes before frying, which allows the flour to fully hydrate and produces a lighter fritter. Lee Suk Ching fries immediately, keeping the process quick and spontaneous. Cooking steps. Step 4. Heat the oil. Pour enough cooking oil into a deep pan or wok to reach a depth of at least 4-5 cm. Heat the oil over medium-high heat until it is smoking hot, the recipe's own words. To test the temperature without a thermometer, drop a tiny pinch of batter into the oil. It should sizzle immediately and rise to the surface within a few seconds. If it sinks and sits on the bottom, the oil is not yet hot enough. If it burns instantly and darkens too fast, reduce the heat slightly. Step 5. Fry the fritters. Using a tablespoon, carefully drop spoonfuls of the banana batter into the hot oil, one at a time. Do not overcrowd the pan. Fry in batches of 5 or 6 to maintain the oil temperature and allow the fritters room to expand. Fry over medium heat. The fritters will sink briefly, then float to the surface as they cook. Continue frying, turning occasionally with a slotted spoon, until each fritter is a deep, dark golden brown and crisp on all sides. This takes roughly 2-3 minutes per batch. Reference note. Lee Suk Ching advises trying just 2 or 3 fritters first as a test. If they turn out too soft for your taste, simply stir a little more plain flour into the remaining batter and continue. This built-in calibration is the mark of a recipe refined through years of home cooking. Anjilu uses an ice cream scoop for evenly shaped, rounded balls, while Aslan Blore fries for about 1 minute per side, emphasizing that the fritters should be golden, not burnt. Step 6. Drain and serve. Remove the fritters from the oil using a slotted spoon or spider strainer and transfer them to a plate lined with 2 or 3 layers of kitchen paper to absorb excess oil. Allow them to drain for a minute or two. Serve hot while the exterior is still crisp and the interior soft and steaming. Jemput Pisang are best eaten the moment they are made, accompanied by a cup of strong black coffee or tea. They need no sauce, no garnish, and no accompaniment, just the simple, honest pleasure of warm banana and crisp golden batter. As Lee Suk Ching notes, drain them well before serving and let the fritters speak for themselves. Notes and tips. Choosing bananas, the single most important factor is ripeness. Bananas that are barely ripe will produce dense, starchy fritters that lack sweetness. The blacker the skin, the better the result. Pisang Emas is traditional for its intense sweetness. Pisang Awak is favored by many Malaysian cooks for its slightly firmer, seeded flesh that fries exceptionally well. Cavendish bananas from any supermarket work perfectly if allowed to ripen fully. Adjusting sweetness. Because banana sweetness varies enormously, the sugar quantity is a guideline rather than a rule. Taste the mashed banana before adding flour. If it is already very sweet, reduce the sugar to 1 tablespoon or omit it entirely. Lee Suk Ching explicitly notes this flexibility in her recipe. Consistency is everything. The batter should be thick enough to hold its shape on a spoon but loose enough to drop off when tapped. Too runny and the fritters will be flat and oily, too stiff and they will be heavy and doughy. If in doubt or on the slightly thicker side, you can always loosen the batter with a teaspoon of water. Oil temperature. The oil must be hot enough that the batter sizzles and floats quickly, but not so hot that the fritters brown before the inside is cooked. Medium heat after the initial sear is ideal. If the fritters darken too fast, lower the heat and give them an extra minute to cook through. Variations. Angie Liu adds toasted white sesame seeds to the batter for a nutty crunch and uses a blend of rice flour and all-purpose flour for a lighter, crispier crust. Aslan Blore adds a pinch of sodium bicarbonate for extra lift. B. and Lo includes an egg in her late mother's version for a richer, cake-like interior, though she notes this departs from the traditional eggless Malay recipe. Any of these additions can be incorporated while still honoring the spirit of the dish. Storage and reheating. Jemput Pisang are best eaten fresh. If you must store them, keep leftovers in an airtight container at room temperature for up to a day and reheat briefly in a hot oven or air fryer to restore some crispness. Microwaving will make them soggy and is not recommended.